Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another Smrt Live class. This is Smrt English on YouTube, where we live stream a classroom. As you know, most of you in the chat room know this already. Can you guys see me? Is this working? Let me know if you guys can see me or not. In fact, I'm going to ask. So we should be streaming now. Yeah? Okay, good. Good, then it's working. Sorry for the late start. A classroom had to be set up, and I wasn't sure how to do that myself, so I had to wait till somebody did it for me. Hello, everybody. Good morning, unless it is afternoon or evening where you are. Hi, Jose. I think I said hi in the chat room to most of you already. So many people. I'll say hi to the new people jumping in. Hi, Ruth, Brian, Tushara, Serene, Katie, Sarah, Adnan, Shital, Dr. Grigorov, Fatima. Welcome everybody. It is a extremely hot day here in Spokane, Washington. I am streaming live from the studios here in very, very warm Spokane, Washington. We are having record temperatures without rain. It's very hot here and very smoky. We're getting smoke from all of the wildfires in the surrounding area. So it's hot and it's smoky. So smoky in the sky that I can look up and look at the sun. There's enough smoke covering the sun where I can look directly at it. It's very, very strange. No, this class, Leo, this class will be in English this morning. As good as well as I can speak English. That's what today's class will be in. Congratulations, Brian. Congratulations on your day off. Ethan, it does smell a little like barbecue in the air. It's very smoky. It smells like burning wood. All right, are you guys? Oh, Bharat, welcome. Osama. For those of you joining, Kritaya, for those of you joining late, I'm glad you found it. We're starting a little late, about a half hour late today, but we'll go the full hour. Okay, you're ready. You guys are ready. Let's go. Let me share with you in the chat room the link to the class notes. If you open this in your computer, if you open that link, you should be able to see what's on the background behind me as well. I'll do the same thing I do for every class. I will share these links with you. If you have any questions about the Smrt Live classes, you can contact Zach at smartenglish.com. That's SMRT, that's smart without the A, smartenglish.com. If you want to know more about the subscription services to these classes, you can follow either of these links to see all of the classes that are offered. You can see the times that classes start, and all that information will be on those pages. If you haven't yet, please join our Facebook group. It's Learn English on Facebook with Smrt. We have a Facebook page for these Smrt Live classes. If you haven't done so already, please also like this page, Smrt Live on Facebook, and then you are already on the YouTube channel. But remember, you can watch all of the old videos on the YouTube channel if you follow this link here. We are going to talk about phrasal verbs. You guys asked a lot of questions about phrasal verbs. So now today we will actually talk about phrasal verbs. They're very tricky. Phrasal verbs are very, very tricky. It's vocabulary. This will be a vocabulary lesson. When we talk about phrasal verbs, we have to do so as vocabulary. And we'll also learn a couple rules specific to phrasal verbs, but I think we're going to practice mostly through use. Probably the best way to use phrasal verbs is to try to use them. So I'm going to ask you to help me by coming up with a lot of examples of phrasal verbs. Of course, we can't look at all of them because there's so many, but we'll look at a few, and maybe by looking at a few, you can get a little more used to how phrasal verbs work. But they are tricky. They are a challenge. They are a challenge in English. Okay, there are two types of phrasal verbs. To start off with, there are two types. Are you guys having problems with the link? I'll share it one more time. Can anybody open the link? Let me know if you can or can't open the link. If you are on your phone, oh, you guys cannot. That link is not working for you. Let me try real quick then. Is it working for me? Yes, the link is working for me. I shared it one more time. Go ahead and try again. If not, keep a lookout on the notes behind me. You are watching it now. So there are two types of phrasal verbs, two types of construction. You'll either see a verb plus one preposition, or you will see a verb plus two prepositions. So it's either a verb and a preposition put together, or a verb and two prepositions put together. So two different kind of constructions of phrasal verbs. Two words that I'll be using when talking about phrasal verbs is inseparable and separable. As you can guess, inseparable means you can't separate the verb and the preposition. These two parts of speech that make the phrasal verb, if it is inseparable, you cannot separate them in any case. Now, one rule that's kind of helpful is that if you have a phrasal verb that's made of a verb and a preposition and another preposition, if you have this construction, it is always inseparable. So a verb plus a preposition, if you have two prepositions to make your phrasal verb, it will always be inseparable. You can never separate them. You have to keep the verb and those two prepositions together always. And that's a 100% rule. So that's nice. Now, where it becomes difficult is if a phrasal verb is only a verb and one preposition, sometimes it's inseparable, sometimes it's separable, and you kind of have to learn one phrasal verb at a time to know whether it's inseparable or separable. So if it is separable, the verb and preposition can be separated. It is usually the writer's choice. It is usually your choice whether you keep the verb and preposition together or you separate it. However, if you use a pronoun as an object, the verb and preposition must be separated. Now, I know that's kind of confusing just hearing the rule, but we'll look at some examples. So, if it is separable, what it will look like is this. Verb plus object plus preposition. The object will go in the middle. If you use a pronoun, the pronoun has to go in the middle. If you use a common noun or a proper noun, then you have your choice. The object can go at the end. And again, we will look at some examples. To learn these rules, we will look at some examples. Okay. Here we go. Let's start looking at some of the vocabulary. I picked a few verbs. One way to learn phrasal verbs, because there are so many, so many, one way to learn phrasal verbs is to start with a verb. Many common verbs, and one of the verbs I'm going to use today is look. Many common verbs are used with many different prepositions to make many different phrasal verbs. So if you know some common verbs, it's a good start to begin to learn phrasal verbs. Okay, so we'll start with look. Look after. Now, every time you take a different preposition and pair it with a verb, it's going to have a different meaning. The meaning of look, it may retain the original verb's meaning, or it may take on an entirely new meaning. So look after means take care of. Look after, it means you have responsibility for something. It is your job to take care of something. If somebody asks you to look after something, it means it is now your responsibility to take care of that thing, to make sure it is safe. Look down on, think less of. Disrespect. Usually in thought, not in words. It's not something you express with words. If you disrespect somebody or something, you look down on it. You look down on it. You are putting yourself in a higher position than this person or thing, and you think that this person or thing is not respectful. You disrespect it. Okay. And already you guys are thinking, I'm going to ask you to think of some examples after we go over these words. But yes, Nora, that's the right idea. We have to always look after kids. So I'm going to ask you to think of things you have to look after, or things you might look down on. Thushara, that's another example. You might look after, you might look after kids, you might take care of kids, or you might look after, you might take care of a dog. But here, Thushara, you're saying, I cannot look after the dog when you go out. I cannot take care of the dog. Look into is to investigate, find more information. Look into. Look out for, be careful. Look over, review or examine. Look up, check or find. And look up to, admire. Notice look up and look up to have two different meanings. This is one of the things that's difficult about phrasal verbs, is if you add a preposition, it may, not always, but it may change the meaning. Now, on this one, look out for, meaning to be careful. I put this for in parentheses because sometimes when you add another preposition, it changes meaning, like the difference between look up and look up to. But sometimes it does not change the meaning. So look out and look out for both mean be careful. The meaning will not change. Ethan, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. The police looked into the unusual homicide case. I'm going to add just an article there. So I'm going to ask you, using these words, what is something you have to look after? If you need help, I gave you an example of how this sentence could start. While she is on vacation, my friend asked me to look after. When you use look after, it's going to be important to have an object. You have to say the thing or the person you are looking after. What are you taking care of? You need the link one more time. I'll share the link, although it doesn't seem to be working for everybody. I'll share the link one more time. There it is in the chat room. Hopefully that will work for you. It doesn't look like it's working for... Okay. Paluxio, you have an interesting use of look out. Where is that look out? It's a little different, but it's correct. So Paluxio, you got our hotel room looks out onto the lake. Look out can also mean view. So another difficult thing about phrasal verbs is a phrasal verb, a verb and a preposition, may have more than one meaning. Just like a normal vocabulary word, a phrasal verb may have more than one meaning. Thushara, you're saying the police and I'm going to use a future modal there because you say very soon, will look into the accident very soon. Look into, again, investigate. They will investigate. Sarah, that's right. Look up is to use a dictionary to look up new words, but it doesn't necessarily have to be vocabulary that you look up. It can be anything. You can look up any piece of information or research. Hector, you say looking after the apartment. Make sure to have a subject on that. You can say, I am looking after the apartment. Now, because you're using a verb with phrasal verbs, you can change the form of the verbs. It can be past, the verb can be past, the verb can be continuous. Now remember, if it is continuous, you will need a modal verb. You will need a be verb. It can be past, it can be continuous, it can be present, it can be future. Because phrasal verbs have a verb, and they are verbs, you'll use phrasal verbs as verbs in your sentence. The part of speech of a phrasal verb will always be verb. So you can use any form of the verb. You can even have perfect form. Paluxio, you have another dog sentence. I can't look after my dog as I work, so I hired a dog walker. Rosa, you wrote, after my mother broke her leg, she needs always, and I'm going to switch the adverb and the verb, she always needs someone to look after her. Okay, here's a good time to talk about this. All right, remember at the beginning when I talked about separable and inseparable? Let's look at this sentence. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. After my mother broke her leg, she always needs someone to look after her. This is a pronoun, her. But I cannot say, look her after. I cannot write this sentence, after my mother broke her leg, she always needs someone to look her after. Because I cannot move that pronoun into the middle, look after must be inseparable. Some phrasal verbs that are made of just one verb and one preposition will be inseparable. Some will be inseparable. Because I cannot split this up in any case, whether it's a pronoun or a common noun or a proper noun, because I cannot put any object or noun in the middle of look and after, we would say look after is an inseparable phrasal verb. The object will always go after for that particular phrasal verb. And the rule changes for each phrasal verb. Again, that's another tricky thing. Ruth, you wrote, I looked out for my sister's child when she started working. Really what you want here is look after. Look out is going to have a different meaning. What you're looking for here is I looked after. I looked after my sister's child when she started working. JB, you wrote, oh, I see. Hector, thank you for telling me that. The link needs permission. That's something I can change right now. Let me change that right now. Real quick like. Thank you for letting me know, Hector. Now let's try it. Now let me share the link with you. Okay. Try that. Try that link now. See if that works for you. JB, you're saying, I am looking after my sick father. Remember, remember, the verb can change. It can be continuous, it can be past, it can be present, it can be future. Okay. Sile to internet, you say, sometimes I look up the sky. Now, this doesn't mean respect the sky, right? This does not mean respect the sky. When you actually tilt your head up and point your eyes up, it's look up at. It's look up at. You will use the second pronoun at. So that's a little different meaning. Look up at means physically you raise your head and you point your eyes up and you look at something above. Look up at. Serene, you say looking down on everyone is, yeah. Looking down on everyone is bad. How about, let's say bad, I will say is a sign of a bad character. Yeah, if you have, looking down on everyone is a sign of a bad character. You should not look down on everyone. Some people might say you should not look down on anyone. Bye, Talcha. Sorry we started a little late today. JB, you have another one. I will look after my family if they are sick. Of course. You should always look after the people in your family. Paluxia, that's right. It is a job looking after children. Here we would say not it's a lot of job, we'd say it's a big job. It's a big job. That's correct. I cannot pronounce your name because it's in a different language, but you should never look down on people. Where's my look down? Where's my look down on? There it is. That's right. You should never look down on people. Of course, we're all human, and it's hard not to look down on some people. Some people we feel are not worthy of our respect. They lose our respect. Kretaya, that's correct. One way of expressing gratitude, parents, is to look after them when they get older. They'll need it. Our parents will need our help when they get older. Okay, how about some of these others? How about look out for? What should you look out for? What should you be careful of? So, for example, while hiking in the wilderness, you should look out for what? What should you be careful of? What should you be careful of? Puluxio, you have a look down at. Where's the look down? Remember, the look down at is going to be today I crossed the bridge and looked down at the Dnipro River below. Look out for the signs. Yeah, how about that? That's a good one. Puluxio, you should pay attention. You should be careful of the signs. Just look out for the signs. Leo, when you cross the street, you look out for the cars. That's good. You don't want to get hit by a car, so look out for the cars. So, Dieri, look down at means you will bend your head down and point your eyes down. That's look down at. Look down on means disrespect. Let me show you an example. I look down on people who lie. So that's disrespect. I disrespect. I look down on people who lie. I looked down at the Grand Canyon. Look down at means you bend your head down, bend your neck down, and point your eyes down and actually look at something. So look down on, disrespect, look down at, head down, and you look at something. Yes, Leo, that's right. Look down on is to kind of spit, to kind of mentally spit on somebody. Use your thoughts to spit on them. JB, you look out for snakes whenever you're in the jungle. Good. That is correct. I look out for snakes whenever I'm in the jungle. You have to be careful because snakes are dangerous. Yeah, look out for means watch out. Beware. Be cautious. Go slow. Pay attention. Watch out, if you just say watch out, it's just a warning, but you can use it as a phrasal verb if you say watch out for. So we have look out for. A synonym is actually watch out for. And maybe I'll take the parentheses off this, because we're not just shouting the warning, look out, exclamation mark, or watch out, exclamation mark. We're using it as a phrasal verb. We should include that for if we want to add an object to that phrasal verb. Look out for and watch out for. And they can be used as synonyms. David, that's correct. You say, when I walk, we'll just say on. When I walk on the street, I look out for the dogs. Be careful of the dogs. When I walk on the street, I look out for the dogs. Sarah, that's correct. The police, and I'm going to change that. I'm going to use the collector, or the individual form of the police. The police are looking into the accident which happened, should be correct, happened yesterday. That is correct. English vibe, look out for bears when you camp in Russia. I think anywhere, even here in America, look out for bears. Beware of bears. Krutaya, that's right. While driving on the road, we should look out for any accidents. Look out for any accidents. Be careful. Ruth, right, that's right. Look out for suspicious behavior. If you see anybody acting strangely, acting oddly, acting suspicious, look out for any suspicious behavior. I won't be able to get to all these examples. Yes, Rosa, that's right. Look down on means you don't like something or somebody. They do something you don't like. Barat, it would be I look down on people who lie. If you say I look down at people who lie, means you are in a high space and they are on a low space. You are like on a balcony or second story of a building and they are on the street. That's look down at. Look down on is you don't like them, you disrespect them. So these are all good examples. I'm seeing nothing but good examples, all good examples. So I think you're understanding the look phrasal verbs. Let's go on to the next word. Yeah, it's time to move on. Okay, Sarah, thank you for that example. I wanted one for look over. Look over is review, examine, look closely. So our teacher looked over our exercises at the last time. I'll say at the last period, maybe class time. Looked over, examine, review. Oftentimes your teachers will look over your papers or assignments. For looked up, I'll give one example. Looked up how about the rate of exchange between US and Canadian currencies. For his research paper, Jay looked up the rate of exchange between US and Canadian currencies. Look up doesn't just have to be a single vocabulary word like in the dictionary. It can be any piece of information you look up. And then look up to is different than look down on. It means respect. So oftentimes we say, I look up to my parents. Somebody you respect, somebody you want to be like, somebody you want to copy as an example of how your life should be. Okay, so we have to move on. Again, you have lots of great examples, but for the sake of time, let's continue. Another very common verb that makes a lot of phrasal verbs is take. Take after is a little strange. Take after means resemble, and resemble means look like. So we often ask, in your family, who do you take after? Who do you look like? Take away from, usually this means grab from somebody or even steal, but it can also mean learn. So if you go to class and you learn something, what do you take away from that? Take off, leave. A lot of you already know take off as when your plane departs, when the plane lifts off and goes into the sky to begin its journey to its destination. But take off can just mean leave, and usually leave suddenly. Take on means start. Start something. Take on means start something. Take out means take on a date. It can also mean pick up food from a restaurant. And then take over or take over for means replace, substitute. Usually in a job, in a position. Dr. Grigorov, already, you say, I take after my mother. So this means you look more like your mother than your father. Or it can mean, somebody asked, can it mean character? Yes. It might mean you act more like your mother than your father. Or it can even mean you work in the same job as your mother. Like if your mother is a doctor and you are a doctor, you could say, I take after my mother. So resemble, look like, but also you could say copy someone's character. And of course for take off, and it means the same thing, leave. So you can say the plane takes off. But you can't say take on. Plane doesn't take on anything, just the plane takes off. The opposite is land. Now remember, because this is a verb, it has to agree with the subject, so the plane takes off. Hi Ilyas, we started late today, so we're still going. We'll continue for about 20 more minutes. Good, take a solid, that's a very, take out. I didn't think of that meaning, but that's another meaning. Take out the trash. Of course, it doesn't mean take on a date. It means take it out of the house. So let's add that one. Remove. Take out can also mean remove. Another meaning, Paluxio. Good. You guys are... Take off your shoes before you come in. That's another one. Take off. Also means remove a item of clothing. Take on the game. Yes. And we would use it probably like this. Starting something new. Take on the game. Oh, let me try that again. Take on, and usually when we use take on, because it means smart, we would indicate that it's something new. Maybe I will take on the new game. Start something new. There's a question. What is the difference between take over and overtake? Take over and overtake. So that would be a new one. Let's add that below. Take over. Take over means get control or power. Overtake. For one thing, I believe overtake is not a phrasal verb. It's just one word. It's one single verb. So take over, you have to separate. There's a space in between. Overtake, there is no space in between. They kind of have the same meaning. Overtake can also mean pass, like in a car. If you pass somebody in a car, you overtake them. Or if you're running a race, you can overtake them. You can pass them. Overtake. But they kind of have the same meaning. Rosa, good. You say, as in take after. Everybody in my family always says that I take after my father. Take after, resemble, or do something like. Let's see, the player had taken over. Now we're using take over, our new one. The player had taken over. We need to put the object. What had they taken over? The player had taken over the game. Let's see, I'm a little behind here. Take after my father, that's good. My family promoted me for this job, so I took on doing it. That's good. A new start, Sarah. Take on. My family promoted me for this job, so I took on doing it. Yeah, your new task is doing the job. Promoted is correct. Paluxio, good. I've taken up parachuting. We don't have take up, but it has much the same meaning as take on. So we can put it in here. I have taken up. So take up kind of means the same thing. Start something new. Yeah, parachuting, I imagine, is very scary. Paluxio, this is an interesting use of it. The sky took on a grayish color. Yeah, it can also kind of mean took on a grayish color. Can kind of also mean a change, show a change, what it looks like now. So new change. Show a new change, took on. Leo, my car overtakes the Tesla Model S. I think you wish. I don't know what car you're driving, but that is a correct use of overtake. I'm going to put that on there because we did talk about overtake. It's not a phrasal verb. Overtake is a singular verb. My car overtakes the Tesla Model S. Let's see. The president takes over the Congress. Okay. Plastic gorillas. If you say this, the president takes over. The president takes over the Congress. Means he seizes control. He has power over the Congress. Now he is controlling it. He is making the decisions for the Congress. Kritaya, you say, thank you, by the way, since joining Smart English with Neal, I have taken away a number of improving my English skills. So, taken away, learn. That's the correct word. Where is learn? Here we go. Since joining Smart English from Neal, I have taken away a number of, and we'll say ways of improving my English skills. So yeah, what did you learn? That's correct. And thank you, by the way, Kritaya. Ethan, we have a historic fact here. Napoleon took over France. He took control of it. We'll put that down here. Napoleon took over France through several historically significant revolutionary wars within and out of, we'd say, French territory. Use the adjective form. Woo, that's a long sentence. Yes, we've just taken over one of our rivals. We have the control and the power now. We have passed them. Yes, Rosa, you can say a new government has just taken over. That would be correct. For phrasal verbs, now, Paluxio, here's the thing. We're learning a few of them. We're just learning a handful of them here today. There are so many. There are so many. You kind of have to learn them one at a time. You have to be very patient with phrasal verbs. And we're practicing them. You guys are writing great sentences. So learn a phrasal verb. Practice it in sentences. Use it. Use your phrasal verbs. Can you eliminate mistakes with phrasal verbs on tests? It would be very hard if you don't know a phrasal verb. I mean, you can make a guess, but some of them, their meaning is so unique that it is hard to guess on a test. You're just going to have to learn. One way to learn again, and the way we're learning today, is to take a common verb like take or look, and then learn a series of phrasal verbs associated with that common verb. So learn, list, make a list starting with a verb. Yeah, learn them by heart. Start with a verb and then learn a lot of phrasal verbs associated with that verb. For the sake of time again, you guys have a lot of great examples. For the sake of time, let's look at our last list. Get, another common verb. Get along with, or get along means have a good relationship. Have a good relationship. You often get along with your friends, or you get along with your coworkers. You get along with your classmates. You get along with the people in the chat room. Get away or get away to means go on vacation. Get away from your life. Escape everyday life. Get away to. Go on vacation. Escape everyday life. Escape your normal life. Get away with means you did something bad, you did something wrong, but you did not get caught. You got away with it. We have a common idiom. That I'll share with you. It is get away with murder. Get away with murder. Doesn't mean you kill somebody. It just means you did something bad but didn't get caught. So with it, and it's the same meaning as the phrasal verb, get away with. If you say somebody got away with murder, you're not actually saying they killed somebody and were not caught. It just means the same as get away with. They did something bad and did not get caught. I could say, my brother got away with murder, meaning my parents did not punish him. What else do we have? Get out of. You no longer have to do something. Escape responsibility. Escape responsibility. Get out of. Get over means to recover or overcome. Get better after a hard time. Get over. And then get through means survive or bear something. You get through it. Survive a difficult time. Okay, so let's look at some of these. Paluxio, that's right. They got away with 20,000 pounds. means they were not caught. They got away with 20,000 pounds. Get up to. Get up to. You can, I'm trying to think. What does get up to mean? Get up to. Receive possible maximum amount. Something like this. You can get up to $10,000 if you play the scratch tickets in the lottery. I don't know if you have scratch tickets where you're from. They're just little cards, and you use a coin to scratch off like some foil covering on it to see if you win. Like if you get 3 of a picture, you could win some money. So it's possible. Get up to is possible maximum amount. Possible maximum amount. Nora, you sweep under the rug and get away with it. Instead of properly cleaning, you just sweep it under the rug and get away with it. You are not caught sweeping the dirt under the rug. Dr. Gogorov, you say if you learn get, it would mean you have learned English. If you get, do you learn English? Get is used so much in so many different ways. This word, if you get, you know a lot. You definitely can know a lot in English if you know all the meanings of get. Get is used in many ways and has many different meanings. Bharat, you wrote, due to the incapability of the Constitution, he got away with the punishment. Due to the incapability of the Constitution, he got away from the punishment. That's right. Got away from, escaped the punishment. That would be correct. Okay, a new one. Leo, you thought of a new one. Get across to means explain. Get somebody else. I tried to get across U.S. hairstyle to my friend. You're trying to explain it. You're trying to get him to understand it. Get across. Have your idea understood by someone else. Explain something. Get across. I try to get across an idea. Go through. We didn't talk about go, but go has a lot of phrasal verbs as well. We can kind of put that below. You don't have to go through all these responsibilities. There's lots and lots of phrasal verbs. English vibe. Oh, I see. My children are very quiet. I wonder what they're getting up to. Another meaning. You thought of another meaning of getting up to. What are they getting up to? Sometimes get up to simply means doing. What are the children doing? Ethan, the infamous serial killer, recently got away with 2 kidnapped and a murder, says the head of the police department. Okay, so got away with. It's a big sentence. Let's use an article. The infamous serial killer recently got away with means no punishment. 2 kidnap, and I'm going to change it to the noun form, kidnappings and a murder, says the head of the police department. Good. Are saying get up to is used for weather as well. That's good. So we could say something like it will get up to, and I'm going to use Fahrenheit, 97 degrees Fahrenheit today. Good. We can use it for weather. Will get up to. Can be used for temperature. Let's see, what else do we got? Yes, Dr. Grigorov, that's correct. You just have to get the money, and after that, get away. Get away. So we can use get away, not just vacation, but escape. So not just escape everyday life, maybe escape the law as well. Good. Asal, I'm glad a bunch of examples are getting up to your head. Okay, so again, a lot of good examples. Who are the person, as we end here, can you tell me, who is the person you get along with most? Who is the person you get along with most? Rosa, with your example, we would just say, I'm up for going to the concert. You don't have to say get up. You can just say simply, I'm up for going to the concert. I am up means I am willing to do it. I am ready to do it. I am up. Yes, get away can mean disappear or circumvent. Diary, you say, I get along with Nora the most. You have a good relationship with. Get along with. Get along with. Ali, you say your boss. I get along with my boss. That's always important. It's good for a working relationship to get along with your boss. Nora, you say, I get along with my mother pretty well. And Diary, I get along with my mother and Diary pretty well. You can have a compound object there. You can have more than one object, of course. Asala, I hope that is correct. It's good if you can get along with everyone. That is a difficult thing to do. It is difficult to get along with everyone. Some people can be very difficult to get along with. Get along with, the connection to objects. Not really, Ethan. If you could think of a good example, maybe you could change my mind. I think mostly with people. Get along with people. Ali, good. It's important you get along with your fiance. That's going to be very important in the future. You are forced to get along with Grigorov. Yes, sometimes we are forced to get along with somebody. And Rosa, good. I'm glad you get along with your brother. Get out of means to escape responsibility. I can't believe my parents let my brother get out of doing his chores, his small jobs. I can't believe my parents let my brother get out of doing his chores. They let him escape his responsibilities. I still can't get over the last election. Something that happened in the past, and I can't let it go. I can't get over it. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop living in the past. I cannot get over it. Oftentimes when two people break up, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they break up, they separate. Often the advice their friends give them is get over her or get over him. Get over them. Forget about them. Continue with your life. Get over. The students had a lot of difficulties, but they finally got through trigonometry. Let's see, how do you spell that? Trigonometry. Usually if something is a challenge, something is very difficult, but you manage, you survive, you succeed through a very difficult or challenging thing, you can use get through. And here I use the past tense, got through. Okay, that's all of the phrasal verbs for now. We looked at a few phrasal verbs, and you even thought of some new phrasal verbs using the verbs get, take, and look. There are so many more that use those verbs and other common verbs like make, for example, or call. So the best way I would say to learn phrasal verbs, pick a verb, look up all the phrasal verbs that are connected to that verb, and of course you can use the internet to do that, and start learning some very common ones. Use them, try to use them in your own example, either in speaking with another English speaker or writing. Think of your own example sentences. As we saw, a lot of these need objects. A lot of these need objects afterwards. Some of them don't, or you can use them in a sentence where you won't have an object afterwards, but many, many times they have objects attached to them in order to understand or to finish the meaning of them. Like get along with. Who do you get along with? It's important to say who. Okay, you guys have a lot of research to do. We can return to this. Next week I'll do MLA and APA. We'll look at the difference between MLA and APA citation. So it's going to be academic stuff. It's going to be academic writing. Not the most interesting thing, of course. And then maybe we can return to some new phrasal verbs. It was a heavy class. Let me share the class link one more time in the chat room. Look at these. We did a total of, I brought in a total of 19, and you guys thought of more, so a little over 20 vocabulary words today. And again, one by one, slowly learn your phrasal verbs. Not an easy thing because they have such individual meaning and individual rules for use. But with practice, I am confident you can do well. I saw a lot of great examples today, so I know you're capable of using these vocabulary words, these phrasal verbs, in sentences. My address is on the class notes, but I'll put it there in the chat room as well. I will see you next week. Later today, there will be another Smrt class, and then another one tomorrow, and another one on Friday. Stay tuned. I think some of those classes haven't been posted to the YouTube channel yet, but stay tuned and look for those classes coming up soon. Keep studying English, keep being excellent. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Here's a quick message from Sean.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smrt Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.